And so right now we're going to share with you some information about our 4 places in the DC metro area that made it to the best neighborhoods to live in America.
So what we're going to cover is exactly how the neighborhood made it to the list. We're also going to cover some real estate facts about the location so that you can have a better idea of exactly how much the houses cost to live there.
What type of homes they have.
And these lists are really designed to give you a jumping off point for your search, right? Because a lot of people who are relocating to this area, they're not familiar with the neighborhoods. And also we don't really have true city communities, right? So like that have like a hometown feel outside of like Old Town and some other, not really that many other places, right? So these lists give you a great jumping off point, but some of these locations are, as you'll see, are not necessarily affordable. Right.
Yeah.
And so
definitely.
you may say to yourself, you know what, Abraham, I want to be in a top rated location, but my budget is $800,000. If that's the case, then one of these places on the list is not going to be for you. Right. And then we'll also show you the crime stats as well. This is not our information. This is going to be from Niche. As real estate agents, we really can't comment about the crime stats because that will be considered.
It's against our code of ethics, so we will not be going over that.
Exactly. So we did just capture a screenshot for you from the Niche website. So we're going to cover all that for each community. The way our show runs is we go through our talking points, and then in between each segment, we will answer any questions you have. So post your questions in the comment section, and we'll pause between each section to acknowledge you and also to answer your questions. But before that, if you are ready to start the home buying process,
or if you have any questions for us, there's a link down below in the description for our Perfect Home questionnaire. You fill that quick survey out, and we will contact you to set up a Perfect Home consultation where Abraham will chat with you about the process of relocating here. You'll be laughing just like that couple there.
Excellent. So our first location we're going to talk about is Radnor Fort Myers Heights. So this place has, it's number 5 on the list. So it is in the top 10 for niche.com. So it's a wonderful place to stay as far as like the ratings are concerned. A lot of our clients are rating sensitive, right?
That's true. Now, what I will say is I always point this out when we talk about niche.com's rating is you see they have an A+ overall grade for the area, A+ for public schools, A+ for say that's good for families, A+ for nightlife, A- on diversity, and a B for housing. Now, what I say there is you're going to find if you use niche.com to look at school ratings that they pretty much give almost every school in Northern Virginia pretty solid or pretty high ratings. So because of that, I feel like their ratings for schools are a little bit skewed. So I always encourage parents to check out at least one other source when they're looking up school information.
And if you're a new parent, so we have a couple clients right now who are new parents. Those rating systems that you can also check out are greatschools.org, School Digger, U.S. News,
and also Public School
Review. So those are some great places that you can start your school research if you are ratings driven, right? So next up is just information about the sales, right? The real estate. So the average sales price is going to be $614,000. On the low end, it's $95,000, but most of those sales come from a
co-op, and usually that's going to be like a studio in that co-op. So that really actually brought the average price down because there were quite a few sales in that one co-op of River Place last year. And then on the high end, we're looking at $3.9 million. Average days on market last year for this neighborhood was 40 days. And there are quite a few transactions because this is actually the biggest area as far as neighborhoods on today's lesson. So there were 243 transactions in this neighborhood, and that's going to be the Radnor Fort Myers Heights area.
Yes, and so this is where the location is, and so it's closest to the courthouse and Roslyn metro stops. So it's conveniently located, and we're not going to really get into the commute times for any of these places because they're so close to one another. But this is in the North Arlington area, so you are going to have a single-digit commutes to most of the employment bases in the area, which is one of the reasons why Arlington is usually on some of these lists because you do have favorable commute.
That's true.
And so here are the crime stats that we will not discuss, but this is here for you to consume.
And oddly enough, they share the crime stats on their website, but when you look at the overall grades, they actually do not give a grade for any of the crime stats on their website.
That's true. Because when you start talking about crime stats, you can get in trouble.
Now, this neighborhood is quite popular with niche.com. So as we said, it is going to be number 5 on their best cities to live in America, but it's also number 1 on their best neighborhoods to raise a family in Arlington. It's going to be number 2 of their best neighborhoods to live in Arlington, which is odd because it's the number 2 neighborhood to live in Arlington, but it's the number 5 in all of America. But there's nothing in Arlington over are listed before Myer Heights. Interesting. Anyway, and then it's going to be number 11 as the best place to buy a house in Arlington.
Yes. So again, like we said at the beginning, niche.com does a great job of compiling these lists, and also people just love them. I got the email about this list when it came out just like 3 days ago. So they're very popular.
Now, this area actually is going to be made primarily of condos. Just so you know, that question actually just came up. Are there more townhouses, single families, are condos in this area? And the answer is actually it's mostly condos with a few condo style townhomes included. So you're really not going to see any single families or traditional townhouses in this area. And that's primarily because you're so close to the city. You're close to that Roslyn area. So you're going to see spaces at a premium, right? And so you're really looking more at condos, more high rise buildings in that area.
That's true. And also that's why this highest sales price is $3.9 million. So you're really looking at something that's more like a single family, but a larger single family in the Arlington area at that price range. Excellent. So good. So our next stop is going to be Bluemont.
All right. So that was number 11 on the list. And this is actually a community that consists of, it's a neighborhood civic association with several smaller subdivisions within it. And so they were looking at the area as a whole. It's ranked number 11 throughout the country. And it has an A+ overall rating, A+ for public schools, A+ for good for families and nightlife. And it has a B+ for diversity and housing.
I got to say, we live in the Alexandria, Fairfax County area, and our nightlife grade sucks. So if you are looking for a nightlife where we live, may not be ideal.
And maybe that's why Arlington, between a commute and actually having a nightlife, if that's something that they judge, I mean, for most of Northern Virginia, you're not going to get much nightlife.
Exactly. Because most of Fairfax County is going to be suburban living, and then Loudoun becomes even more suburban, right? You get more land for your buck there. A couple other lists or rankings that Bluemont is on for niche.com is it's number 1 for the best neighborhoods to raise a family in Arlington. It's number 2 for best neighborhood to live in Arlington. And then it's number 11 for best neighborhoods to buy a house in Arlington. Right? Now, as far as real estate concerned, the average sales price for this location is going to be a little bit higher than the last location at $1,060,000, $600 on the low end, $1.7 million on the high end, with average days on market of 22 days on market. Now, I will say that this number is going to be a little bit lower this year because we've already seen that the market we have less inventory in the market, which means that we have lower days on market and also higher average sales price, but there was 68 sales in this community.
Now, this community actually is going to be made primarily of single family homes. So this location is going to be a little bit to the west of our last neighborhood. And it's actually one of the oldest neighborhoods in Arlington. It dates back to the late 1800s. And so what you're going to see is a lot of homes that were built around like the 1930s, 40s, 50s, all the way until there's also a lot of new construction. So that's what's interesting about this neighborhood is that like no era or type of home dominates. Like you're going to see Cape Cods, Ramblers, bungalows that were built like, early 1900s, but then there's also a fair amount of new construction, some colonials, some craftsmen. So it's a really interesting neighborhood because, like I said, there's no one look for the area, but it is going to be primarily single families. Now you are going to see some townhouses and some condos towards like the outer edge, close to Glebe Road. But other than that, it's primarily single family homes.
That's right. And so as far as the location is concerned, your closest metro stop is going to be Virginia Square.
Yes, and that's going to be just on the other side of Glebe Road there on the right-hand side of the map. It's actually going to be in that Ballston-Virginia Square area.
What's cool about this neighborhood here is, as you can see, there's a lot of green space. I think Arlington does a great job with green space and also planting parks throughout the location.
Yes, there's actually 7 parks in this neighborhood, and it's also really bike friendly. So that's another reason that it rates high. It's bike friendly. It's kind of walkable in that you can walk to like that Boston area just over to the west a little bit, but it's not necessarily known for being close to creature comforts within the immediate area.
That's true. Another reason why Arlington will make it to most of these lists is because it's a car optional location, right? They have some of the best biking lanes throughout Northern Virginia, and also it's quite walkable as far as getting to a metro stop. Most of Northern Virginia, as far as Fairfax County,
Prince William County.
Well, I'm just thinking about like as far as like metro stops or metro commuting.
Oh, okay.
Most of the metros are really designed for you to drive to the metro stop and then use the metro to get to work. It's not really designed for you to just exclusively use the metro
and then walk to the rest of your destination. That's true.
Right. So I think that's one of the confusing things that a lot of people who come here from other big cities get mixed up with is they believe that, oh, you know what? I don't need my car. Like I don't need my car in some other major city if I lived in a downtown area. This is not that location.
Well, that's because we are not a major city. We are a suburb outside of the major city.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So here are the crime stats for you so you can consume that content.
Okay.
And then the next place that we're going to talk about is Colonial Village, right?
Now, Colonial Village is number 13 on the list, and it is actually going to be the smallest. You'll see when we get to the map. It's going to be the smallest area. But like the other places we've seen so far, you're talking about an A+ overall, as well as for public schools, good for families, A+ for nightlife, and then we're looking at a B+ for diversity and a B- for housing.
It ranks number 2 out of 57 for the best neighborhoods for young professionals in Arlington, 3 out of 57 for best neighborhoods to live in Arlington, and number 17 as far as best neighborhood to raise a family in Arlington. I think that has to do with that housing stat that Crystal just mentioned.
Absolutely, because what we're going to see when we look at the types of properties that are available in Colonial Village, you're going to see that it is condos.
Yes.
And then some more condos. And that's it.
Yeah. And so we're looking at an average sales price of $361,000. $255 is going to be your low. $750,000 is going to be your high, with an average days on market of 33. And then we have 69 transactions last year. I will say that even though it is a condo heavy market, condos are a great buy right now because there is less demand for them and their days on market is slightly higher than the other property types in Northern Virginia. So if you're a first-time home buyer or you're trying to purchase like a starter home, right? Or maybe you haven't started making your family yet, look into condos. Condos are a great way to start your investment process.
Now, as I was saying, it's a really small area. Someone just commented that he said, wow, condos only. As you can see, it's only a few blocks wide. And, so it's not a lot of space. And so within that area, there's just going to be a couple of little condo communities. Mainly, they're actually going to be 2 larger condos that make up most of the area. And that's going to be Colonial Village. And the other one is Astoria. And so just within those few condos, that makes up most of the transactions last year. And so it is a relatively small area, which is why it's made up, like I said, almost all exclusively of condos.
But look at the parks in this area. This is crazy. This is bananas.
That's a lot of green space.
Look at that. Look at all that green space, right?
And also, you're not very far off from the courthouse metro if you're in that neighborhood.
Exactly. And you could jump right on to 66 if necessary. So again, this is one of the reasons why Arlington makes so many lists, because it's a super popular area. All right. And here are the crime stats for you. Oh, there we go. And now let's answer some questions. All right. So are there more time? Okay, we already answered that. Loudoun County, baby. Yeah, we have somebody representing Loudoun County trying to get you out that way. Condos only. Wow. Yes, that's correct. And then what's the approximate HOA, if any? For the condos, it's not going to be an HOA. It's going to be a condo association fee.
And it's really going to depend on the size of the unit, and the amenities offered by the different buildings. So it varies greatly. Like some condos, you're looking at $400 a month, and others you can get up to like $1,000. So it really does depend on the building and if your utilities are included or not, things of that nature.
Also, the square footage, right? So the square footage of the condo is going to be come into play here. So the larger 2-bedroom or 2-bedroom in a den, this rarely 3-bedroom unit, 3-bedroom condos, those are going to be more expensive as well. Also, the newer developments are a little bit more expensive as far as their condo fees, just because they offer more modern amenities like rooftop pools, super swanky fitness centers and stuff like that. Excelente, excelente. And then we have a thank you here. My pleasure, my pleasure. So keep those comments coming. Keep those comments coming. And so our last place on our list is going to be Ballston-Virginia Square. I got to say that this is probably one of my favorite places in the Arlington area. If I didn't have kids and it was just my wife and I think that Ballston would be the place that I live. In addition to being a location that has great restaurants, they have, I guess, 4 restaurants we like in the Ballston area.
just in that one little area by Ballston Quarter, there's 4 restaurants that we like, and that's not even all of Ballston. So we definitely like Ballston. It's a really walkable area. There are 2 metro stops in the community. It's a place that's definitely on our list for when we're empty nesters. Right.
When we're empty nesters, our plan is to get a condo and get rid of this townhouse that we have right now. And Ballston is definitely on our list. Also, the Wharf in DC is on our list, but the Wharf in DC is almost like 3 times the price of Ballston. But yeah, so Ballston has, again, top ratings as well.
Yeah, so it's an A+ overall, A+ for public schools, good for families, nightlife, B for diversity, and also B for housing. Do you have the numbers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And also B for housing. And so the average sales price was $726. The lowest $323,000, and the high was $1.9 million. Last year, the average days on market was 25, and there are 123 homes sold. Now, this area is also going to be primarily made of condos. But one cool thing about Ballston is there are also going to be some single families. And also, this is the Ballston-Virginia Square area. So it's not just Ballston. But there are also going to be single family homes and townhouses sprinkled throughout.
On the low end, at 323, you're looking at like a 1-bedroom condo. There also are some studios for sale in the Ballston area as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. There is some property type variety in this particular location.
Yes. Also, you're still going to see it. You can look here on the map. You see lots of parks. Quincy Park right there, kind of in the center, is going to have volleyball, basketball, tennis courts. There's also going to be the Central Library located in walking distance of anywhere in the Ballston area. So this is actually just a really great place, probably the most walkable of all the places because it's kind of right in the center of the action. I feel like Colonial Village is just off of the action. Same thing with the Fort Radnor Fort Myers area. But if you're in Ballston, you're kind of like smack dab in the center of everything that's going on. There's lots of shopping, so many restaurants. It's a kind of place you could actually live without a car and without needing a car at all. In fact, one of the condo buildings is actually located on top of the metro station.
That's right. So you can go from your pajamas to the metro gate.
You never have to go outside of the building.
That's true. That's true. And so here are the crime stats for you, so you can consume that content. Excellent. So let's get into some more questions. Let's see. DC is crazy. Is it crazy? I don't know if it's crazy. I mean, you got to think that this is a place where people get paid a lot of money. Mm-hmm. There's several jobs. I mean, there's 11 Fortune 500 headquarters here. In the Northern Virginia area, there's 17 in the total. 17
in the DC metro
area. So, and there's the Pentagon, one of the largest commercial buildings in the world. There's Fort Belvoir, a very large military base. I mean, there's a lot of jobs and opportunities here. So
Yeah.
if you're going to be close to somewhere with a lot of opportunities, you know, you're going to have high sales prices. You're going to have a higher education base. Also, another thing too, we didn't mention this. Arlington has the highest concentration of PhDs than anywhere else
in the country,
except for Cambridge,
Massachusetts.
Yes,
that's right.
That's right. So again, that's what's cool about this place having so many people with advanced degrees. There's so many there's so many interesting conversations, right? There's so many people with interesting jobs, interesting careers,
things you've never even heard of.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that's cool about living in the Arlington area as well. So DC is crazy. Yes, it's crazy. We also have, Arlington is right across the street, essentially, from DC proper. So you're maybe 15, 20 minutes away from the Kennedy Center, from the National Memorial, or the monument. There's the Verizon Center, so you can watch the basketball game and some concerts. There's just so much to do here. And it should be expensive to live near a place.
It should.
With so much to do.
You get no complaints from me about that, which is why we'll probably live in Arlington.
Yes.
What are our favorite restaurants in Ballston? Abraham, what are your favorite restaurants in Ballston?
Is Ted's Bulletin in?
Ted's Bulletin is in Ballston.
There's Ted's Bulletin. There's Shake Shack.
True Foods Kitchen.
True Foods Kitchen. And what else is there? Is that it?
I think that's your top 3 over there.
That's the top
But
3.
there's also in Ballston Quarter.
There's a little restaurant in the food court area.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Yes.
There's actually like this whole little food court. I wouldn't call it a mall, but there's like this food court on the lower level that has all of these like pop-up restaurants, and so there are a couple of really good places there. I can't remember their names because I feel like they change.
Right.
So you might go there next month, and the place that I like with like the spicy fried chicken won't even be there. So.
Yes, I do remember. Yes, yeah. I had a burger.
You did
there, but I have a burger.
You don't
I have
do
a burger
spicy
everywhere. All right, so let's see. Boston sounds like a good retirement area. Is that accurate? I would say that Ballston is more of a. You could retire there, but the demographics are skewing more to a younger population just because there's more condos there. There's a quick access to commuting routes.
Well, also the George Mason University and Marymount campuses are within walking distance of Ballston. So that's actually why it's one of the top rated places for young professionals. So we've actually been having this conversation about if Ballston is the place for us to retire or not.
Well, we're not going to retire.
Well, not retire, but we talked about going there and staying in that area for a good bit, and we actually just came to realization that it might be fine for maybe the first 10 years after the kids leave the house, but we don't know if we necessarily want to end up there when we're a little bit older.
Yeah, so I don't know if I would say it's a retirement area. I think you could retire there. I think that it depends on your comfort level being around individuals.
Young people.
Right. Yes, individuals of varying age ranges. Right. Excellent. So never heard of Ballston before. Yeah, it's one of the more popular areas. It's a planned a little community by Arlington.
So it was planned to be like a downtown area to kind of rival downtown DC.
Yep. Crazy expensive. Is it crazy expensive? See, I don't think it's crazy expensive because if you look at our median income compared to our median income, our median house
home
sales prices, we're only 6 times the median home sales price. Mm-hmm. So in other parts of the area, like where we're from in New Orleans, I think it's 8 or 9 times. So mm-hmm. I think that based on how much money the income levels here, the housing prices are kind of justified in my opinion. Right. But I also sell real estate, so I have a biased opinion. That's true. Excellent. I'm pretty sure. Popeyes.
We're from New Orleans, so of course we love Popeyes.
We love Popeyes. I don't know if there's a Popeyes over that way.
I don't really know if they have any chains over there. Not in that immediate area. It's more like restaurant groups and things like that. So other than Shake Shack, which again, I don't even think that's a chain.
That's true. Also, there's a donut shop on the other side of the mall that we went to.
Oh, yeah, that one you went to with the boys.
Donut and bar shop. It's a cool concept. I didn't let the kids have a drink, so stop it.
Thank you. Yes. I appreciate that.
Excellent. You love chicken? Oh, yeah, we do.
We do too.
Yes, and also the popcorn shrimp. Excellent. So good. So it sounds like we have run out of questions. So let's just get to All right, so this is our list that we covered on tonight's show. These are 4 neighborhoods that made it into that top 25 list for best places to live in America. We have Radnor, Fort Myer Heights. We have number 11, Bluemont. We have Colonial Village at number 13. Number 22 is going to be Ballston-Virginia Square. So if you are ready to start the home buying process,
reach out to us. So we have a link down below for the Perfect Home Questionnaire. If you click that link, you'll be directed to the Questionnaires homepage. Fill that out, and we will reach out to schedule your perfect home consultation with Abraham.
Excellent. So we do have another question. Let's see. You guys know places. Oh, that's our goal, right? That's
we want to be in the know.
We want to be in the know. Also, we want to slaughter our competition. We want to make sure that you all don't have to watch any other YouTube channel in this area.
That's the goal.
This is the one-stop shop for all of your real estate questions or needs. Also, if you have any content ideas, right? We love doing research on y'all behalf. I was just shooting a video today for a viewer who mentioned a Plute home in Potomac Shores. That video is going to be up probably tomorrow or the day afterwards, where it's a walking tour of that property. A viewer asked for it and we delivered. So if you have any other suggestions, post them down below in the comment section and we'll add it to our list, because you are our audience. And
so we want to give you the content that you're looking for.
Exactly.
Let's see. Christina has another question. She says, are you guys seeing more or less bidding wars in these areas that you just covered? We're seeing bidding wars everywhere. We were recently helping a client in Arlington, and I feel like it's really hard everywhere, including Arlington right now.
Now, we'll say there are less bidding wars on condos. So a couple of the areas we covered today are condo
specific. That's true.
Yes. So in condos in general, there is only like 48% of the transactions in Northern Virginia are being sold over the asking price versus like 60 and 70% for the other property types. So for condos specifically, and that's why I'm always talking about condos or always mentioning condos, is because right now condos, you don't have to, there's not that much upward pressure on prices. So then that way you can get into a condo without having to bring a lot of cash to the table. And also you could start that process of home ownership, right? So for condos, not that much bidding wars, but for the other property types in Arlington and all of Arlington too, because it's such a desirable area. It's a great commute.
And also the people who are buying in Arlington have money.
Yes.
Because it is one of the most expensive parts of Northern Virginia. So for the most part, outside of condos, if you're looking to buy in that area, you probably have more cash.
That is correct.
Let's see, Hawks Cricket Club.
Oh yeah, that's for you, Hawks. Yeah. So yes, it's not the townhouse. It's the single family home. Did you want to see the townhouse? So I did get the single family home. I'll have to go back out. It started raining, so I wasn't able to get the townhouse for you. But if you're looking for the townhouse tour, we'll try to capture that in the coming week. Hawks Cricket Club. Yep. So Hawks is the person who mentioned that he wanted to see a Plute home in Potomac Shores. And then today I recorded that video and I should have that up in the next 2 days. So if you have any content ideas, right, post those down below in the comment section. Also, keep the questions coming. We will stay on at least another 15 minutes or until our legs get tired. All right. So great point, Abraham. Abraham is full of great points. Yes.
I have to live with him, so let's keep the great point Abraham to a minimum.
Show me the money. Yes. This place is it is more expensive if you just isolate for housing prices, right? So if you just look at the price of a home, you'll say to yourself, $700,000, that's too much for a house. In Texas, I could buy XYZ, right? Mm-hmm. But also in Texas, the median household income isn't going to be $120,000 to $145,000, right? So that means that here you're making a substantial amount of money over what most people in America, it's almost
double the national average.
Right.
And don't get us wrong, because we know we moved here in 2013, and when we first moved here, when we saw home prices, even then we were thinking to ourselves, man, we could have a house on a golf course. Remember, in a gated community on a golf course, we first moved here, right. And that was when townhomes were just like $450 at that time.
Yes.
Right. And so we had that sticker shock, and everyone has that when they move here.
Yes. But then also when you start getting those checks from your employer, you're like, oh my goodness, they pay
I
me
never made
this.
this much in New Orleans.
They pay me this to be here. I'll work. Yeah, and that's another reason why, you know, we're seeing some clients right now who are backing out of the housing market, and I don't think you get the full advantage of living here unless you also buy a home, right? So you have the higher cost of living, which also puts you in a position to qualify for a larger mortgage payment. If you don't purchase a home here, at least in your mid 30s, then when you're 65 and you retire, you wouldn't have paid off that property, and you won't have that $700,000 to $1 million in equity that would then allow you to have almost 25% of your retirement income or retirement savings in one lump sum, right? So if you're in some other middle America place where the median sales price is $300,000, you still need like $3 to $4 million in your retirement account to retire comfortably. In Northern Virginia, you're paid more money and your houses cost more money, so you're able to amass much more equity than most places in America. I think it's a huge advantage to retirement. All right, so Hawks Cricket Club says, appreciate it. We'll be on the lookout. Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, and Hawks, let me know, did you want the single family or the townhouse? Because I know you mentioned the townhouse. The townhouses, of course, significantly lower than the single families. I think the single families in Potomac Shores, they were going for from mid sevens to $1 million, right? So for three different models that Plute offers. Exactly. There you go. That's true. Okay, so Crystal, what did you learn from this sesh?
What did I learn from this session? I told you I learned earlier today, and now I'm drawing a blank. What was it that I learned? About Bluemont. So we actually did another video maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and it was on our top 5 neighborhoods in Arlington, and Bluemont was on my list, and I took it off because I felt it was too small of a community, because in the Bluemont subdivision itself there were only 11 sales. And what we try to do when we're sharing neighborhoods with you is we try to show you areas that you can actually buy a home. It doesn't make sense when we tell you that this is a wonderful neighborhood and we love it and it's a great place to live if only 11 properties come on the market in a year. So I removed it from that list and didn't include it. And then upon doing some more research, I found that there's actually a greater Bluemont area, which is the Bluemont neighborhood. And that includes several other subdivisions. And so that's why, so that is that's what I learned in preparing for today's video.
Yeah. So the main thing I learned here is that Arlington does just a better job of marketing itself. I think that Arlington in general, if you're talking to somebody who's an Arlingtonite, or I don't know what Arlington people call themselves, an Arlington resident, they are very proud of their area and they make it to a lot of lists. And I think it's because they talk about their location. We find that people kind of live in Arlington. If you're moving to a townhouse or a single family home, they live in that area a little bit longer as well. And they really enjoy their community because it also is an awesome place to live, right? You have a lower commute, you have a shorter commute, you also have the ability to have a walkable neighborhood, you have restaurants, shops nearby, you have parks all around, they have 10 dog parks in the Arlington area, you have bike trails throughout the entire area. They focus on fitness. I think they're like one of the fittest
It's actually
cities.
the fittest city in the country.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. And also another thing with people who move to Arlington is they tend to stay there. So whereas we have people who move to some parts of Fairfax County, as their families grow, they leave and go to other parts of Fairfax County. When people live in Arlington, they move around Arlington. They don't really leave Arlington and then move to Fairfax County.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That's true. All right. Hawks Cricket Club says, townhouse, single family is out of my budget. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we'll look into the townhouses and try to knock out that tour for you and put it on the channel if they agree to it. All right, same here. It's yes, they focus on fitness. Yeah, they focus on fitness. I also think, I don't know if they necessarily focus on fitness. I just think that if you're dealing with somebody who has a higher education level, that they take into like a quality of life, like a holistic approach to life. Also, when you make enough money, you can start to solve other problems, right? So you don't necessarily have to worry about, you could buy organic chicken and organic pieces of fruits and vegetables, right? Also because it's so walkable, you actually have somewhere you want to walk, right? It's
But
bikeable.
overall, Northern Virginia as a whole is a pretty healthy place, though, because we see more
Yes.
people walking in a day here than you would see in a month in some other places.
That's true. I thought people's cars were broken the first time I saw so many people walking around. Yep, a lot of PhDs in Arlington. That is correct. That's correct. Actually, I had a meeting in my dad's group. Shout out to my dad's group. If you're a dad watching this, or if you know a dad that should be watching this, we have a dad's group called DC Dads Group. It's one of the largest dads group, but it's the largest dads group in the DC metro area. Check us out. We have a meetup group, and we also have a private Facebook group. So send your dads or any dads you know that are interested in connecting with other people to our group. That would be much appreciated. So PhDs. Oh, yeah. So I was at a dad's group meeting, and there was only 4 of us at this meeting. 2 of the guys that were with us
Had PhDs.
had PhDs, just casually, too. Also, what's cool about this location is that so many people have PhDs that no one really feels like they're special with the PhD.
They're not those people who like make you call them doctor. Like, no, hey, my name's Larry.
Yeah, that's true. Excellent. Does Abraham like fitness? Abraham likes fitness. Sure. Well, we walk a lot right now.
Yes.
So we like to walk. That's one of the reasons why we like the idea of moving to Arlington after we have raised our children, so that we can move to a place, or at least I want to move to a place where it's just more walkable, because I do like to go on long walks. I like to people watch. I like to go to cafes. I love going to restaurants, stuff like that. Whereas Crystal is a homebody.
That's true.
Yep.
I walk, though. I walk every day, but I just want to walk and come back home.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I could strike up a conversation with anyone for hours at in, and that's probably going to be my elderly life, right? That's going to be my retirement life, is just talking to people, random people about life and stuff like that. Excellent. So good. So it looks like we have answered all or most of all of the questions. Let me just get back in here.
I think you did get all the questions.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, good. So what do you all think about this nighttime show? We moved the show to 9 p.m. We were doing it at 10 a.m., but not that many people were showing up. Well, there's one guy showing up.
EF Gaming, if you're watching, we miss you. Hope you see this video.
Also, there was another guy. Remember the guy?
The one at YT Stanton.
Yes.
You thought that he was a bot. And
yes,
I told you his name was not a bot name. I was like, that can't be a bot.
Yes, but it looks like much more people are watching the show at night. Also, we enjoy the feedback as far as getting the questions in real time, answer those questions, because that offers you all to get your questions answered without really, falling into our funnel, right? Everybody doesn't need to come into the funnel, right? Only individuals who are ready to start the home buying process or that have an immediate need, right? Some of you are probably like a year out, 2 years out. This is just the beginning of your journey, and we want to get you those answers as quickly as possible. So any feedback about our nighttime show, just let us know. Also, we're always looking for content ideas to serve our community.
Excellent.
Well, I think that's it for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. Until next time, we will see you on the next show. Peace.